Leo loved exploring. Rainy days were the best. Why? Because rainy days meant indoor adventures. Today's adventure took him to the attic. The attic was dark and dusty. Cobwebs hung like spooky decorations. He bumped into an old trunk. It creaked as he opened it. Inside, he found a leather-bound diary. The diary was small and old. Its pages were yellowed with age. The leather felt strange in Leo's hands. He opened it carefully. The first page had a name, Professor Ernest Kronos. This was going to be good. The writing was elegant and spidery. He began to read. The words described a bustling city street, but not just any street. This street had horse-drawn carriages. The date on the diary entry was 1924. Could this diary be real? Leo read on, captivated by the professor's words. The diary described a secret society. They were obsessed with time travel. The professor wrote about a device he had invented. It was a small silver compass. But this was no ordinary compass. This compass could control time itself. As Leo read the word compass, the room grew cold. The air crackled with energy. Then he heard it, a faint whisper. It seemed to come from the diary itself. "Find the compass," the whisper said. He quickly shut the diary. The room returned to normal. Had he imagined the whisper? He opened the diary again. The writing about the compass was underlined. It was almost as if the diary wanted him to read it. Leo felt a strange pull towards the words. He felt strangely drawn to the mystery. Leo continued reading. The professor described a test of his time travel device. He set the compass to 1888. He held the compass tight. Then, he vanished. Leo read the words again, his fingers tracing the page. He didn't believe it, but he couldn't stop reading. Suddenly, the room spun. Leo felt a rush of dizziness. He closed his eyes. When he opened them, he was surrounded by gaslight lamps. The air was filled with smoke and the sound of horses' hooves. He looked down at his clothes. They had changed too. He was wearing a newsboy cap and a tweed jacket. He had traveled back in time. He checked his pockets. He still had the diary. He opened it. Professor Kronos' entry described this very street in 1888. Leo realized something amazing. This diary wasn't just a diary, it was a time machine.
Section 4, a century-old mystery.
I spent the next few hours exploring 1888. I saw street performers and elegant ladies. I even bought a penny dreadful from a newspaper boy. But I knew I couldn't stay long. I had to learn how to control the diary's power, and I had to find out what happened to Professor Kronos.
Back in the present, Leo reread the diary entries. He discovered a hidden message. Professor Kronos had left clues to his whereabouts. He had also warned of time traps, dangers for time travelers. Leo realized the professor had disappeared on purpose. He was hiding something important.
I knew what I had to do. I had to follow Professor Kronos' journey. I had to find out what he was hiding. And most importantly, I had to avoid the time traps. This was more than just a history lesson now. It was a rescue mission.
Section 5, the time traveler's secret.
I decided to follow Professor Kronos' trail. I opened the diary and carefully pointed to an entry about ancient Rome. I held my breath, bracing myself for another dizzying journey through time. This time, I was ready. I had a backpack filled with supplies, a flashlight, a compass, and a notebook.
Leo closed his eyes and focused on the words on the page. He could feel the familiar pull of temporal displacement. When he opened his eyes, he was no longer in his attic. He was standing on a dusty road, the air thick with the scent of olive trees and wood smoke. He had traveled back to ancient Rome. His adventure was just beginning.